everybody, I'm Zaide.
I'm Charlie. So I know you guys, it's normally our duo night, but as you know, Zaide has died and been reborn. So I didn't die, so I'm way too high of a level to group with him, so I won't be on tonight. But I will see you guys Saturday for our Champions of Norath stream.
Forgot about that. Yeah, our next duo stream is Champions of Norath. I forgot all about it. Thanks for reminding me, Charlie.
But yeah, so I'll be on Saturday. I can't be there tonight because I'm just way out of level. I can't make the group. But yeah, so.
Feels bad, man. So if you guys don't know, Charlie is a level 27 Beast Lord right now, and I am a paltry level 17, about to be 18 Shadow Knight. Technically, she and I could maybe just barely group once I gain a level. But the rest of the group...
I'm right on the cusp of 28.
Right, yeah. She's going to level up a few kills into our group, and then we'd be a whole level out of range again.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we'll do one more session of this on Saturday, like we said, Champions of Norath, and then next week I'm sure we'll be in leveling range, so everything will be back to normal.
Yeah.
All right. Regardless, it's good to be back. Good to see everybody. A lot of folks in the chat, a lot of familiar faces. What's going on, Jusum? Gaming with Gary, Inner Circle Gaming, Inspire Slazik, Sabrina, Super Suit Guy, ICM, what's going on, dude? Charlie ICM Freak really loves your shirt. I've been sitting AFK in this corner while I get ready to stream, and these monks in my group have been able to pull. That's over. Sorry, monks. We have a real pulling class here now. I invited Pied. I didn't see your lore request fade. Is it the same old lore request? Dude, one day I will get a character high enough to be in the Western Wastes, but it's not this day. Longhouse, here's your zombie. Congratulations on the Ghoul Lord Longhouse. Dude, if you don't know, the new meta is if you don't have taunt, you're not a pulling class. Not in group content. Phineas, here's Annie for you. So guys, check it out. Shadow Knight is now the big level 18. We've been making some bank selling spiderling silks and wolf, cat, and bear hides. All the low, medium, and high quality hides to our guildies who were I guess we'll say motivated enough to embark on the long journey of smithing. They're finally getting to that part where they're trying to make plate, which means they need leather padding, which means they need all that crap. And it's super easy to farm it. So I farmed up a pile of it. I think I made about 300 plat. And I got a few pieces. 3 pieces of fine plate. The arms, the gloves, the legs. It was a little less than 300 for all that, but feels good. Feels good. Then we're rocking that big Netherbian shitten from Netherbian Lair. We killed a few of the Swarm Callers and Swarm Leaders today, so that's really nice. Vibe Tribe, thanks for the follow. But yeah, now we're back in the, apparently the only zone that we ever level up in, which is Unrest. So here we are. My group composition right now is Monk, Shadow Knight, Enchanter, Bard, Cleric. It would be a good group, but our levels are all over the place. Hyde, who was previously a mage on our last stream, is now a monk because his mage died while trying to level up with us yesterday. RIP. And his monk is big level 12. So we got some work to do to get him up to where we need him to be, but we'll get there. Dude, Ellie, I might have more AC than you. What are you rocking right now? I don't know how much that Ixar innate AC is going for these days. Yeah, I'm liking this group. Big Charlie was kind enough to swing by and shrink me before she logged out for the night. So, I get to be like a real person as I walk around the halls rather than trying to duck through doorways. And tonight's music, hopefully you guys can hear it, is Chrono Trigger Lo-Fi. Who did that have magic? I think one of our folks doesn't have a magic weapon, so we can't hit the ghouls. Alright, finally. Frank, don't tempt Trolley into out-leveling me again. She does have a little bit more free time, technically. Slam. Slam. He got slammed. Feels bad, man. The big ghoul lord killed my level 37 paladin. So now we are reborn as a Shadow Knight, here to get some revenge. Shrinking your character makes it feel so much faster. The worst part about playing a troll is like, just even though you run the same speed as every default race, right? It feels really slow because you're so huge. The perspective of like being closer to the floor makes you feel so much faster. Indeed, the kid I was slain. Feels bad, man. Feels real bad. Alright, let's find out who in our group sucks. Here comes a ghoul. Watch for the invulnerables. It's just the monk strikes. I wonder if that's like tail rake? I don't know what they're using. But both of the monks have magic weapons or magic gloves, so it should be good. Alavast, thanks for continuing that gift sub, dude. Much appreciated. Yeah, SKs are supposed to be really good. So guys, just so you know, someone made a thread on the TLP forums. I think it was my buddy Castiel. And he said, hey, you guys should let people play as Barbarian Paladins and Ixar Rogues. And I was like, you know, I'm in support of that, so I went in there and I was like, hey, J-Chan, if you let us play as Ixar Rogues and Barbarian Paladins, and you let us start in Classic on TLPs with those combos, I'll donate $1,000 to the charity of your choice. I assume it will not entice her enough, but we can always hope. Inspire, is there Zaide merch? No. Oh my gosh, no. What would we do? What would we even put on a shirt? Like one of my corpses? Crushing them. I just came back to EQ'd. I'm pretty sucky right now, or else I'd come try this hardcore stuff out. Maybe I'll go play with some of y'all whenever the new TLP comes out. Hey, this is a good practice run. Everybody dies a lot. Let me tell you, Crushed them. We had a guy, Alex, who died like 7 times. And then in the last like week, he just had a character that worked. He got the hang of it, and he almost like topped the bounty board. I think he did die today though. But the point stands that, you know, it's a great way to play because you're constantly redoing the low level stuff, building up your skill in those early eras. And it's just an awesome community we have here. Feels bad not having the power roll here. So I'm waiting for my taunt pool to get wrecked by Bardsong. I feel like Bardsong should mess it up. I don't know if they've done something to like make Bardsong not count as a buff. But it should count as a buff one of these times. And then cause a huge trait to appear. Technically. My newer emotes, yeah, wouldn't I get like a? I guess probably not. I was gonna say I could get sued, DMCA'd, or not DMCA'd, but a cease and desist from Darkpaw, but they don't seem to care if you steal their IP. Rip, you missed launch, but didn't you play another character, kid? I thought I saw you on. Maybe I'm crazy. Eric, I'm glad to hear that you're having so much fun. Honestly, it's the most fun I've had outside of like very specific circumstances on TLP servers. Rip Alex F on his big number 6 character. Feels bad. How, like, are we good for like a pile of mobs, or do we need to do like these tiny pools? No, it's gonna be the back porch. That could be true, Fat Matt. That might be why I'm not dying from it yet. The kid, most of the group re-rolled, but then like some of them had died at lower levels and stuff. So now it's really just a hodgepodge of pals from the guild. Like, we invited Wolger a couple minutes before the stream started. Mandalorian, obviously, from the previous group. Supporting was not in my original group, but he was like, you know, he got his way in there. That's Big Chinchilla from the chat. This song feels like a little bit loud to me. There we go. That's how I feel, Fat. I always rush. I don't want to wait, dude. Like, here's what I'll say. I am not changing one thing about how I play Everquest because it's permadeath. I'm like, all right, let's go in, especially if I've got a group. I got a group here, it's a race. Do that fire beetle, or whatever, death beetle needs to get out of here. It's very loud, Rect. I don't trust Rect on volume. Rect has that volume. So Classless is out, but it's only in beta right now, right? It's not the official release. Dudes, it's going okay. I mean, I died, but other than being dead, it's good. That's a charm pet. Yeah, I know, I turned it off because there was literally one tick between the volume that Rect indicated was too loud and being off. There was no middle ground available. We'll mess with it a little bit. Kick you. No. Yo, Rex is always standing there, pimped out in his red armor. I always see Rex hanging out in POK. Absolute silence. Wait till we get a new TLP. You guys are going to see the cancer that is my TLP launch playlist. I think I've told you guys this before, but typically what I do is I pick one song, and I'm like, all right, for 16 hours or so, we're going to listen to this song. Then I pick another song, and like the last 16 hours, we listen to that song. What happened to Old Freeport? Okay, yeah. By the way, hi, Zaide, good to see you. So, Fat Matt, Old Freeport was unfortunately destroyed when they did the Prophecy of Roe expansion. I want to say it was POR. They slowly updated like all of the stuff east of High Pass. Luckily, Kithakor Forest was spared, but you saw Misty Thicket was hit, Commonlands was hit, the Rows were hit, Oasis was just merged into other zones or deleted. Freeport was just massacred, just destroyed. And what else was hit? Ocean of Tears was hit. Nectulus and Lava Storm were both hit. Really terrible. And that was just a design decision. There was a time in EverQuest where they were really focused on like, quote, improving things. You know what I mean? They thought like making the graphics more updated was the way ahead. And I think that, you know, has proven to be wrong, of course. As we all know. I wonder if this guy's gonna wipe us. Like, he's a real truck. You can't even see yourself with the grass on. I know. Like, why wouldn't you just take a really beloved zone like Oasis and delete it? I'm okay with new common lands, but that's about it. Like, I don't know. New Lava Storm has a lot of visual effects that are really troublesome. But it's not as bad as like some of them, you know what I mean? Here's the thing. If Freeport didn't exist, if new Freeport didn't exist, my bar for which revamp zones suck would be a lot different. But when there's Freeport out there, just being as bad as you could possibly be for a revamp zone, literally ruining one of the most beloved zones in Classic Everquest, that's when you're just like, well, I guess Lava Storm's not so bad. But if we put Ult Freeport in, Lava Storm would be on the chopping block quick. Were they necessary, though? Like, what was necessary about them? They couldn't have just added a zone line to somewhere in the old Lava Storm for DON? We really think that they had to just revamp the whole zone. And what is it? Blightfire Morse that connects to the new high pass? Like, same thing. They couldn't have had like a little click. They added Jagged Pine Forest zone to Blackburrow without revamping Blackburrow. It's not the same, Brunlin. It's not the same. Unfortunately, you can't trust the EQ community on any of this stuff. Like, if they did a vote, like, hey, should we get rid of the revamp zones? Everyone would probably vote no. Remember when they had a vote on, like, new class race combinations and everyone voted for Wood Elf Beast Lord? Like, who actually voted for that? I want to meet the people who voted for Wood Elf Beast Lord. I wonder if the devs just lied. Like, the dev did a, quote, poll and was like, yeah, but at the end, I'm just going to do Wood Elf Beast Lord no matter what. We'll just say they won. No one can tell us different. Erikai, why would you do that? I forget what the other option was. There was like some really dope option on there. Wasn't it Ixar Berserker? Wasn't Ixar Berserker one of the options? Dude, we could have had another Ixar class. Elaine, I don't know if I'd call them idiots. That would have been dope. But it doesn't really fit, you know what I mean? Like, sure, Drist was the Dark Elf Ranger, but he's like 1 in a million. If they made it a class, it'd be like every other Dark Elf was a Ranger for the rest of the time. Let's move into the main room. All right, there you go. Wrecked. How's the volume? Ixar Druid would be nice. They're like too savage to be druids. How did I ever pull without taunt? Like, I had to take risks and like feign death things and oh god. Beef Wellington, what's going on, dude? It's doing good work. Thank you for selling me that cracked Darkwood shield. Beef, did you hear that shortly after you left, Spec died? There's a gnat in my room, guys, that I can see out of my peripheral vision. It's underneath my monitor, because my monitor has like a light underneath it for some reason. And I'm going to have like a brain aneurysm watching this gnat fly there out of the corner of my eye. All I'm saying is, I go on live, I don't see any Wood Elf Beast Lords. Where are they all at? All these people who supposedly voted for him. I wonder if, as a troll, people voted for the obvious worst option. And this is what we got. I felt really bad, dude. So Spec went AFK. He's like, hey, I'll be back in just 1 minute. And then like somebody pulled. Wasn't me. I won't name the person who did it, but it wasn't me for once. Someone pulled, and then like there was like 3 respawns, and then like a 4th respawn that was a nade. We're like, hey, we gotta run. And then as we were running, I look back and I'm like, wait, Spec's still AFK, and they just slowly murder this man. There's nothing we could do about it. Spec, there you are. It was tragic. I was like, if I was a paladin right now, I could have dropped a big LOH on you. And no sooner did we zone out and survive than did Spec come back to his computer. Spec, as you were walking back to your PC, did you look at the monitor like when you're walking towards it and just see like, man, that looks a lot like Inithul Swamp. That better not be Inithul. And then it was. That's what I would have done. I can't see. You just had the instant surprise. What Elf Beast Lord is like a dumb idea in my opinion. The music volume went from okay to silent all on its own. Half-elf wizard. I mean, any half-elf combination pretty much blows because they have like the worst int and whiz. They do have the worst wisdom stat for any wisdom class, right? Like any class they can play which uses wisdom, they have the lowest wisdom for it. Yes? Paladin, Druid, Ranger. Is this pet ever charmed? I feel like it's always broken. G-Dunk, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. I agree with that, Roland. Why not all of them? Like, was DevTime really so heavily partitioned that they're able to be like, we have enough time to do just one of these classes. Just one. Not 2, not 3, just one. And not like one this year and then we'll revisit it. We have enough time to do one forever. Only one. And if you guys want more classes after that, I guess fuck off. We should do a petition, guys. We should do like a big, like a whitehouse.gov petition. Joe Biden, please make Dark Pod games. Make them let us play Barbarian Paladins. Erudite Rogue? Oh man. Another class that Erudites can be bad at. I would play that though. Honestly, I think Erudite is one of the other swag races. So like the swag races are Erudite, Troll, and Ixar. I would say maybe Wood Elf is like a 4th, like a distant 4th, but the 3 swag races, Erudite, Ixar, and Troll. And any class that you add to them, I'm pretty much going to support. Alright, we need to pick a different music because every song on this playlist is a different volume. It's not okay. I think I just crushed the net, guys.
No.
Look at our Erudite right now. Look at this man. This is a man of culture right here. Look at the shine on his well-polished forehead. Any class that can be that race deserves to be played. Unless you can also be a troll. Half-elf cleric, rip. Be terrible. Oh, yeah, Sinyan. I am so excited for the first time someone dies to Lich. I'm shocked it hasn't happened yet. Crushed them. Thank you so much for that Prime sub. You know what we should do, guys? Before the, like, whenever they start giving us more TLP info, so, you know, we'll build up like a critical mass of like player interest and hype. We're gonna start a big push for Barbarian Paladin and Ixar Rogue. Like, we're gonna spam the forums and be a real big nuisance about it. That's my plan. Humans and erudites tend to look better with Lucklin models, and they're the only ones you lane. What? What? Go back to Bobby's chat, dude. There is no race that looks better with Lucklin models. What's up, J2Wigs? You can tell I'm not a real tank because, like, I see a loose mob run off and I'm just like, man, that sucks for somebody. I'm just gonna keep DPSing this one I've been on. Medusa, thanks for the follow. Oh my goodness, Medusa. You have subbed 56 times and followed once. People actually play barbarians on purpose. Well, ours, there's not any good races, or there's no good classes to play as a barbarian right now, but if they add paladin, oh baby. Elementals look better. Trolley agrees with you, but ugh. I told you the story about how the Earth Elemental gives me PTSD, right? I can't look at those Earth Elementals, I want to puke. The Parse Master. What we need to do is get them to put the classic model skeleton on the AON again. No nameplates, old skeleton model. It'll look so good. It'll be a true thing of beauty. Beast Lords and Berserkers in Classic. The optimization is really bad, but I mean, it's acceptable, I guess. Honestly, who are devs to say that, like, there's not enough items for them to allow Beast Lords to be in at Classic because they wouldn't have good itemization? If a player wants to suffer through bad itemization for a couple expansions, let them do it. I say. They've always been very wishy-washy on what they think should be in on TLP servers. You know what I mean? Like, they'll add all kinds of non-classic stuff, and then they'll put in ultra-classic changes that make no sense. The perfect example of this is, like, the Null Slayer. They took Null Bane damage off the Null Slayer because for an arbitrary amount of time in early EverQuest, when Bane damage didn't exist, the weapon didn't have Bane damage. So it's literally just like a 626 Terabad sword that no one should ever use, and then magically becomes a good sword in, like, Lucklin. What does that do? It just makes one of the quests in EverQuest pointless. One of the few quests that you would actually do in Classic. Okay. Good job, Prathin. Thanks for doing that on your way out, buddy. That's a good idea, Beef Wellington, man. Do like the aged Amulet of Necropotence. Does the pre-nerf illusion. That would be dope. Preben, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. What about, oh my gosh. I'm looking at chat, running in the wrong room. Preben, me and Big Mandalore in the group, aka Chosen, are gonna make characters on Praxis. Play with you guys. And if you don't accept our apps, we're gonna join Triton. Praxis, Povar, whatever. It starts with a P. Water God, whatever. Dude, right? Praxis is way cooler than Povar. You don't like that they did this whole triumvirate of water thing. I thought Praxis looked awesome as concept art with his little triangle shield and stuff. Oh, man. So yeah, we got to think about, like, I wish they just had like an open philosophy on what they wanted the TLPs to be, you know what I mean? And that's the problem, there isn't one. So every change is just kind of haphazard, like whimsical as applied by a dev. They need, like, JChan needs to come out and say, hey, I'm the new producer of Everquest. This is my vision, my mission, vision, and philosophy on the time lock progression servers for now and in the future. All changes which happen to them will be in accordance with this vision. That's what they need. Otherwise, we get, like, level 20 ranger swords nerfed to uselessness, while we also change every raid mob in the game. We remove focus effects but leave monk damage tables untouched. No Mercy, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Big rulin' with the sub. Congratulations, dude. Tomatoes, what's going on? I'm not even reading chat, I'm just ranting about nerfs now. How do I feel about the VT patch they did during Lucklin on Agnar? It was good. So here's the thing, like, fixing bugs, I guess, is kind of always good, because, like, if there's a problem, it should be fixed. But I think there's a deeper problem with Vexthal, and they need to confront that too. Like, they need to just come out and say, okay, 20 years ago, or I guess 19 years ago, when we made Vexthal, we didn't do as good of a job as we could have, and we're going to do better, and here it is. We removed 50% of the trash, and that's all we changed. Have fun. Have one thing every 2 years. Seriously, though. Yeah, the problem with VT is VT. You know, what they could do, seriously, that would make VT dope, is, like, I would cut the trash mob HP down to 33% of what it currently is, and double their damage output. Make it spicy in there. Just add a little cayenne to VT. As a cleric, don't do that. You'll have your epic by then, Creep, and it won't matter too much. I feel bad for all the shamans having to redo oh, we're dead. Having to redo all their buffs. Hey, let's mez that blue one. Our enchanter's just asleep over here. Oh, I totally get, yeah, Palier, I get it. I don't blame the devs for the way VT was. Like, they were under a crazy crunch. I think, like you said, it was one dev who had to do it before he bounced. So I don't fault them at all. I understand the incredible pressure they must have been under, but I don't think it's okay for it to still suck 21 years later or whatever, you know what I mean? Honestly, 9 years from now, it's still going to suck. They're not going to change it. So we can comfortably say the Vexthal will have sucked for at least 30 years, probably. Dude, look at this baby, this fat baby. Oh, yeah. That's so funny, Erikai. Evening Pitten. Yo, do we have cello? Do we have cellos? Thank you. I can't afford spiritable pots yet. Still not all. I still have empty slots on this character. Planes of Power was a work of art. Shingus, I disagree with you, but I understand. I'm at least in the minority on that. Most people love Planes of Power. I hate it. All right, we're just gonna hang out here. Root's gonna break, right? I'm rooted in the front left room. Hey, did you like it, Pitten? That was pretty awesome, right? Palyar, yes it does. Only casuals in 2001 hated Pop. I hate Pop, like, even on TLP servers. Look at all these unshrunk people in my group, making it so I can't mouse click my target while I drink soda with one hand. Baddies. What was the best expansion then, and why was it Valius? Dude, Valius was also, like, one of the worst expansions. Trumpet. There we go, Frank. Me and Frank on the same page on this one. Pop's almost as bad as Valius. Here's the weakness of Pop. There's 2 critical weaknesses in Planes of Power. 2 critical weaknesses, because there are actually fun raids in Pop. But the 2 critical weaknesses, 1, art style, which is very subjective, I understand. I think the art in Pop looks like trash. All the gods look super dumb. They're way different than the concept art that had been used for like 4 years prior to that point. They're like all big and cartoony. It looks like it's out of a different game. I always cite Nathaniel Mara as being like particularly egregious and Bertox as looking terrible. It's just dumb, very dumb looking. And then the other bad thing about Pop is that once you get into Plane of Time, there's only one zone that's actually worth raiding, and it's Plane of Time. The loot is so good and so plentiful, and the raid is relatively easy, so you just do it over and over and over again. And maybe you do EPs, maybe, but everyone understands as you're doing these elemental planes that, you know, it's just kind of a side dish at best. So really, after like 3 days, especially on TLP servers, Planes of Power is really just the Plane of Time expansion. And if your server is one of those ones where Eldon gets its own 3 months, enjoy your 6 months of Plane of Time, friends. Enjoy it. Now let's talk about why everyone's favorite expansion, Valius, is terrible. Have you guys ever done the Avatar of War raid? Chat, I assume out of the 123 people watching that like a cool 100 of you, maybe more, have done Avatar of War. You guys have probably done Statue and King Tormax and Yellonak and all those NTOV dragons and stuff, right? 500-600 times, right? You guys have done it. That's pretty cool, right? Well, the thing is, like, you don't actually have to do those raids in Valius, because if you do any one Valius raid, you pretty much just did all the Valius raids. NTOV is a particularly egregious example of this. Like, at least Kale is a relatively fun raid zone because you run in, you kill everything, you run out. But holy shit, TOV couldn't be any less fun. Literally could not be less fun. I would argue it might be worse than Vexthal. If you just turned off the dragon models so you were fighting something like aliens, you'd be like, whoa, this is not fun at all. People get like hard on for dragons. Nah, man. TOV, every mob is the same. And largely all of Velius, like, okay, is this mob rooted? If no, put it in a corner. Attack it from behind. Rotate tanks. Dead. Is it a dragon? Okay. Turn it around and everyone eat the AE and we'll survive with resist gear. Alright, is it dead? Alright, next one. He's just so terrible. Arvis, where are you at? I know you hated NTOV, right? NTOV's so bad. Now, it's cool the first time you ever do it, because you're like, oh man, dragons. Dragons. And that's what it's all about. Like, when you see Everquest, when you see the box of classic Everquest as a kid, you're like, yo, look at that dragon. You don't even notice Pharaoh on the box. You're like, you see this red dragon in the background, you're like, alright, I'm playing this game, Mom. There's a dragon on there. And then, 6 years later, you finally leveled up enough to do a Velius raid, 2 expansions behind the rest of your server. You go to TOV, and you fall asleep before you get to Bulak, because Lady Nev takes 3 hours. Did I do that, Frank? What's my favorite? My favorite expansion or my favorite raid? So, check this thing. In Classic and Kunark, the raids might be similar to Velius raids functionally, but they're very fast. A Nagafen raid is 5 minutes, you know what I mean? So you roll in, you mobilize. The mobilization to kill classic raid targets is at least half, if not more, of the raid itself, which I think is cool. There's a tactical speed element to it that doesn't really exist in the same way in Velius. But other than classic Kunark stuff, I really like Lucklin. I like Lucklin raids. Hey, Halberds, what's going on? The big swagged out 15 Halberds. I like Plane of Sky, but Plane of Sky suffers from the Vishan's Peak problem, which is like it's a great zone, basically ruined by terrible loot. I know you guys are like, but Zaide, Plane of Sky has the best loot, arguably, in the first 2 expansions. Yeah, it does, but you have to like hate your life for 3 weeks as you raid it, farming up a bunch of trash drops, and then do all these quests. Like the problem with Plane of Sky is like you don't get that sudden rush. Like when you kill Nagafen, right? And you loot his corpse and you see 3 Cloaks of Flames, you're just like, oh my god, Cloak of Flames. I can't wait to sell this on Red Guides. And then when you kill the Queen Bee in Plane of Sky, you're like, I'm gonna look this up on Allah, I guess. Oh, hey, this is the monk one. Cool, guys. You're denied that visceral response of seeing the Cloak of Flames in the loot table. And that's why Plane of Sky sucks. Yeah, and Death Touch is a bad mechanic. Admittedly, a bad mechanic. There should have been a quest that allowed you to go around Death Touch. Like, Death Touch should have been, like, more rapid fire. Noob Cake, what's going on, dude? It was lower Guck, Noob Cake. It was lower Guck. So check this out. I donated a video game to Noob Cake last night on Steam. And then he told me he hated it and wouldn't play it anymore. And he only tried it for, like, 5 minutes, chat. Shame. Okay, but really, though, back to the Death Touch conversation. Back to the Death Touch conversation. So I like Death Touch in a sense, like in a lore sense. Because if you are going to the plane, the home plane of a god, it should be able to Death Touch you, right? Like, Khazak Thul in the Plane of Fear should have pretty much absolute control. He should be able to say, hey, you're dead. Should be like no range check. He should be able to machine gun it. Rapid fire. Like, there shouldn't even be a 30-second cooldown on it. ICM, it was Among Us. But instead, they gave it this 30-second timer, and there's like a little bit of a range limit, maybe. There might not be a range limit, but anyway. So it's not like that, right? That's what it should be. He should have complete control. He should be able to just walk up and AE Death Touch your whole raid. Boom. Hey, I'm God here. You suck. You're dead. And then the player should be like, well, there must be something we're supposed to do about that, right? Because he's not just unkillable. Unless he is, but he's not. And then they implement a quest on the back end, right? And they're like, okay, you need to stop Khazak Thul, right? You want to go kill him in his home plane. You need to find a powerful magical artifact that will shield you from his powers while you're there. Maybe like a magical necklace that you can wear that will ward you from his Death Touch. And everyone in your raid gets it, and then they don't get Death Touch, and then you fight them like a normal mob. They should have done something like that, in my opinion. I know what you guys are thinking. That sounds like a Vexthal key or something. Something you have to, some inane quest you have to do. Yeah, but it's called Everquest, so it's okay, dude. It's okay to have quests. No Mercy, Death Touch yourself, rip. On your server? Avada Kedavra. Mirrored masks in every... Dude, I wasn't even thinking about making people click them. But now that you say it, yes. Don't worry, Camden. We're working on it. We're working on it. What level am I? 18? Trash. I agree. I think it would have been cool. And then you need a different one for Plane of Hate. Like, you need one that is attuned to each god when you're trying to kill them. And every god that you ever fight should have that ability to do it. It just makes sense. But dude, in Plane of Sky, there's trash mobs that Death Touch. What? Why do the Sphinxes on Isle 7 Death Touch me? I think I killed him one time just to be like, I killed it. Just to kill it once. And I've never killed another one. I don't think there's any unique item that they drop that you can't get from other trash mobs, so therefore there's no reason to just eat extra DTs. Oh yeah, No Mercy, link it, link it. You guys want to hear a funny story about Plane of Sky? This goes way back. So, I was in Plane of Sky on my monk on Lockjaw. I was up there with another guild leader. Some of you may know him. His name was Dima. At the time, we were on relatively positive-ish terms, I would say. So it was me and Dima up there just hanging around. Most of the sky was cleared. Vishan was up. We were hanging out on Island 7. And I think we were there was another guy up there, Discord. Discord is a buddy of mine. I could be wrong on a little bit of this because it's been a long time. But anyway, we're in Plane of Sky. Hanging out. And they're like, hey, we want to get Vishan. I was like, oh, dude, I'll take the DT for you. So that way, you know, like you can pull it down. So Discord goes up and he's about to tag it. I forget if it was Discord or Dima that was going to tag it. And I was like, yeah, I'll throw a javelin and then you tag it as soon as you see the javelin leave my hands and you won't get the DT. So I throw the javelin and then right as I see their monk run up to get it, I feign death. The javelin hits, but doesn't do anything. Their monk tags it, immediately dies. They're like, oh man, what the hell? I'm like, oh dude, I'm sorry. I feigned death too early. My bad. It was totally my bad. Consent me and have someone else come up and we'll do it again. So they consent me. And they send someone else up to the island to do the tag. And I do the same thing again. The next guy dies. And at this time, like at this point, they're onto it, right? They know what's going on. We might have to run here. I think we're going to be good. So they know what's going on at this point. They're like, they realize that I do not intend to take this death touch for them. I've just gotten 2 people killed. But Discord already consented me. So before I leave Sky, I drag his corpse, I jump off the island, taking his body to who knows where in Plane of Sky, somewhere at the bottom of the skybox, and I peace out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that Plane of Sky story. Rip Camden. Rip. Yo, actually though, Dima and the guys on Finnegal did some big stuff recently. They finished the raid Miradas. I think they did it the day before Finny went into the new expansion. So props to them, that's pretty neat. Charmpet is on the Werebat. If you don't zone and let them just like path around, we should be good-ish. Our enchanter ran. And when he hits the zone line, this charm is gonna break. It's gonna get bad. All right, it's time for us to all bail. Okay. Our bard has recharmed the Darkbone skeleton, I think. Or no, he's messed it. You think you're gonna be able to med up another heal there? It's close, but I think we're solid. Our enchanter got cold feet, bailed on us. I need a Diet Coke too, man. My cup's empty. Too easy. New Cake, that is nice. That was playing nice. That's just like a practical joke among professional colleagues, you know? Like, you've watched The Office, I'm sure. It's like the things that Jim would do to Dwight. It's not mean-spirited. It's just, it's a comedy thing. I'm just taunting it. As soon as we get that TLP announcement, I'm gonna have to switch to ginger ale. Get off this caffeine bug. I actually don't know how we got all 3 of those. I taunt pulled one through a wall. Should have been solo. It must have been Bart's song. Zaide, then water is never an option. Duras. Indeed, what TLP announcement? We haven't got one yet, but we expect to get one sometime. We get one every year. When was the last time we had a year without a time lock progression server? Like between Fippy and Ragefire? Right? Halberds, imagine drinking water willingly. I'd have to be waterboarded to drink water. Go for a run. Gatorade Zero. Well, Frank, they did Quarm after Finny at least. So they still had like an event server. It was just an event that no one liked. I don't think it was 2 years. What year did? Because Ragefire came out in 2015. Finny came out in 2016. Agnar came out in 2017. Right? Or did Finny drop in like December of 2015? Yeah, Finny came out December. It wasn't 2 years. It was probably like 13 months. What month did Agnar come out? Agnar came out in May. You know, a lot of people have been telling me that they've been lagging on this. Like the stream has been lagging for them recently. 3. Or 4. Or 5. Kill the ghoul first. The ghoul's the only one that can root us and therefore cause a death. Yeah, May 2017. So Finny came out pretty much in 2016. It's 2016 in my book. I almost played on Finny, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Just finished 6 months of Classic on Lockjaw. I couldn't walk into another Classic so soon. But yeah, have any of you guys been having issues with that? With the stream lagging? Why does a race have to be able to play a cleric to play paladin? Answer this for me. The argument is fundamentally suggesting that you need to have both of the hybrid classes to be able to play the hybrid, right? That's really what they're getting at. Because like Erudites can't be warriors, so they can't have Shadow Knights or Paladins under that same idea. What else cannot be shamans? Why do they have Beast Lords? What do I think? It's hard to say, man. Very hard to say what they'll name it. Like, who would have ever in a million years guessed Rizlona? Eredun was definitely an obvious pick, but Rizlona is kind of like out there. Why can't Ixar be Berserkers? Because the TLP player base, or sorry, not TLP, the EQ player base is dumb and voted for Wood Elf Beast Lord when they had the opportunity to get Ixar Beasts, or sorry, Ixar Berserkers. So, I mean, if it's laggy, can't you just lower the quality from source to something else? Or is it laggy at like every, you know what I mean? Is it lagging at 240p? I could see it being Mithara too. Brunlin, I don't get it. Paladins are supposed to be lawful, racist, and pious. And paladins can't be evil. I agree with these statements. Did I say something that contradicted it? You're watching it on a calculator? Dang, man. Oh, okay. I thought I said something dumb, and you were like correcting me. Yeah, ever since I made partner, people have been like, "Hey, man, your stream's lagging a lot." I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'll yell at Twitch, I guess. Twitch? Where's Bezos? Bezos, we have a contract. Oh, yeah. There is a big, like, self-control discipline element in the Ixar lore. And I could see them saying that as to why there's no Berserkers. It's probably the same reason they don't let them be rogues. It's a very structured, orderly society. They love CT. They're like CT's chosen race. Big Daddy CT is all about Ixar, and they're all about him. If you go to Plane of Fear as an Ixar and you don't kill anything, you can actually walk up and stand next to CT. I think he cons amiable or ally to you. It's crazy. Barbs are usually tribal and chaotic and are not knights. They are literally created by the god of valor and the god of love, and they worship the god of justice. I couldn't think of a more paladin set of gods to be involved with, you know what I mean? The king of the barbarians may as well be named Paladin, man. I don't see a reason why, like, Tribunal is the ultimate paladin god. I mean, the Ixar need to be able to walk up to CT, at least in concept, because the Whistling Fist, which was like conceptualized as the Ixar version of the epic, requires you to do a turn in to CT. You literally have to walk up and hand him an item to get your Whistling Fists. Oh yeah, you're right. They definitely break the mold of like other barbarians. It's always weird when I talk to people who haven't played EverQuest but play a lot of D&D, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a barbarian warrior, and they're like, oh, you can multi-class? I'm like, no, barbarian's a race in EverQuest. And I'm like, what? Pied, what level are you now? At the same time, there's not really a compelling reason why like every single race can't have Bard. You know what I mean? Except High Elf. High Elf shouldn't have Bard. But all the other races should have Bard. Oh, so Roland, the reason they worship the Tribunal instead of the Mar twins is because the Mars betrayed them, basically. Or that's how they feel. And they worship the Tribunal because the Tribunal came in when the Mars let them down and saved the race, more or less. Medusa with the big 10 gifted subs. Thank you so much, Medusa. You are so generous. Big Medusa taking the top spot? Medusa, you might be in the top spot. I can't even see it because I'm still... screen is taken over by the gift subs. I'll let you know in a second, though. Oh, there you go, number 1. You got the big number 1 box by your name. Medusa, the new champion of gift subs. Everyone who just got that gifted sub, enjoy your like 22 new emotes. Some of them suck, but that's okay. Yeah, I guess if you look at them, I see them as having to play an instrument, then I guess you could make that argument. That's true. I look at them as like, can they throat sing? Probably. Trolls are probably another race that can't. At least ogres could potentially sing and beat some bongos. Nice, crush them. Dang, Camden. Bobby Big's got some good... He's got some good emotes popping out there. With the Cornav? Ice Wall and Velix. Mr. Jones. I don't know. I don't know anything about Velix, really. I never play there. Sorry to have let you down, Mr. Jones. I know like 2 things about EQ lore. I don't know why people think I'm good about it. Oh, Bobby's the king of EQ lore. Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that. Taunt. I don't even know what ice wall we're talking about, Frank. Which wall is the ice wall? Like when I'm in Velx, every wall I'm pretty sure looks like an ice wall to me. I've been okay so much. No, I'm just kidding, but yeah, am I kidding? I don't know. Alright, so Unrest lore. Rect, do you want to do Unrest lore right now? I know you know. Yeah, Rect knows Unrest lore better than I do. I guess that's not saying much. I'm gonna give you the abridged version. It's the worst part about playing in Unrest every stream is that I know people are gonna ask me for Unrest lore. Yeah, so okay, so to go back to the start on Unrest lore, basically when the gods outside of Vishan first met in Norath, they chose to meet in the area that we now know as Dagnor's Cauldron. Why did they meet there? Because, you know, it wasn't always just like a wasteland of nothingness. It used to be a place where the forest, the ocean, and the mountains all met, which meant that when Brel invited Tunair and Prexus, everyone had like some part of their natural element present, and that's why they chose to meet there. So this is where the first meeting of the gods happened. technically Zek was also invited, and he did show up, but he just refused to agree to anything, so we'll forget about him for now. Anyway, all the gods met there, well, all the ones that mattered in this case, met there in Dagnor's Cauldron, and they made a deal. They were going to make some races and put them on Norath, and it would help keep the power of the dragons in check. Now, Brel neglected to mention the fact that he actually already had deposited some races on Norath at this point. And he went back and did this like same kind of deal shenanigan like 3 more times. So Brel has a lot of folks hanging out on Norath. But that's besides the point. So they make this deal. Everything's good. All these races that got created by these gods see this this region of Dagnor's Cauldron as kind of like a holy land, right? It's very important to them because that's where their chosen deity first touched down on Norath. And in some cases, that's where those races were born. So it's a holy place. But since it's a holy place to all these races, including orcs, because Zek was there, it meant that it was like a hotbed of conflict. They would all fight for the rights to be there and all this. And of course, as you know, in Everquest, whenever there is a lot of conflict, an annoying priest of Quellius will show up and try to stop it. And that's just what happened. So eventually a priest of Quellius arrived in Dagnor's Cauldron and said, hey, guys, let's not fight. And he basically had become blessed by Quellius, so he built a temple out there, and he dubbed it a demilitarized zone of sorts. Anyone could come there and be at peace and hang out, and everything was chill, dude. No problems. Things went on like that for a while. Now, there were people who wanted to, to stop that from happening and wanted to come there and kill him or destroy the temple, but Quellius gave her divine favor to this priest. So it became such that anyone who harbored ill intent towards the priest, his family, or the temple itself could not cross the barrier. They couldn't cross the threshold into the temple. So they were safe. And it really did seem to improve the area quite a bit. But there was a necromancer out there who was bound and determined to find a way to destroy this priest and get in here. And though after repeated attempts he was still rebuffed and couldn't figure anything out, he eventually found a young dwarven traveler who was headed to this temple, which had become like a notable temple of healing at this point, I think. He found this dwarven traveler, Garnel Ruxif, and he wormed his way into this dwarf's mind. He might have been there subconsciously, or maybe he directly controlled him. But either way, I think he laid in wait in young Garnel Ruxif, and Garnel came in and was in the place. And since Garnel was truly there for healing and all the good tranquility things that Quellius offers, he was able to enter the temple with no issue. And then late that night, while everyone was asleep, the necromancer assumed full control of Garnel and slaughtered everybody in unrest, including the priest and his family. This is where the lore sort of goes off the deep end. Apparently, Quellius was like, "Oh no, you didn't," and she curses everybody there. So Garnel unfortunately gets caught up in this curse, even though he really didn't do anything. The priest, the necromancer, for his part, I don't think he can ever get back into his own body, so his body's just wandering around out there, dumb and useless, and his power is pretty much gone from him forever. And then later on, like, Khazak Thul comes and does something, and now all the dead and unrest keep coming back to life forever. That's unrest lore. No mercy, here's your Inrook. And big Showtime, thank you so much for that sub, the big 5 months, Showtime. Much appreciated. Showtime, how you been doing? Had to upgrade, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm being, Frank, I'm being, what is it called? I'm being extorted right now. Indeed, Fade Roll, indeed. There's something I keep messing up, like I always forget about that. Something about the nature of Quellius being a jerk to Garnel. I'm pretty sure Garnel Ruxif got screwed on this whole thing. And that's why he's really angry, because he's like, man, I didn't do anything, why am I stuck down here? Frank the Bank, specific lore, lower Guck, specifically about the Ghoul Lord and King. Okay, that's pretty easy, it's very short. Ghoul Lord is Hoptorthagalum. That's why he drops the short sword of Yukesha, because Hoptorthagalum defeated the warlord Yukesha when he was leading the revolt against the trolls after the Grosmok stone had been stolen from warlord Yukesha. He is, so far as we know, the only person to defeat the warlord Yukesha in combat in the lore of Everquest. The Froglock King, we know pretty much nothing about, except that, well, once the previous leader of the Froglocks, Hoptorthagalum, became an undead ghoul bent on destruction of not just the Froglocks, but all of Norath, someone else had to step up, and the Froglock King did. He drops the Mithril two-handed sword, which, if you guys watch in Everquest drops, Mithril items tend to be associated relatively heavily, at least in Classic and Kunark, I think, with royal figures. Medusa. I know you just heard me do the unrest lore, Medusa. There's no way you didn't hear it. Frank the Bank, Upper Guck. Why are there no undead Froglocks there? Because the Shin Lord is a badass with the Ghoulbane, and he and his men refuse to allow the Froglock ghouls to gain access to the upper reaches of Guck, and furthermore to exit Guck and unleash their plague upon the world of Norath at large. Nuclear. I just turned on my second PC after years of storage, and it has my original EQ screenshots. Oh man, dude, you gotta dump a bunch of those screenshots on our Discord. I would love to see your old screenshots. ICM Freak, the Triumvirate of Water. Okay, so the Triumvirate of Water are the three gods which make up the... So it's Povar, ECE, and one of the Mars. Who am I missing? Who's the Mar I'm missing? YouTube, video pause, continue watching. YouTube, what are you, Netflix? Yes. Medusa, I can't do it, I'm sorry. I'm gonna email you the script of the local lore of Unrest, Medusa. I'll sign it in PDF. Very special just for you. ECE, Povar, and there's one more, and it's a Mar, isn't it? Anyway, all their names are water related, which is really dumb. Like Povar is vapor, ECE is ice, Teru Mar, aka water, Teru water. Those three make up the Triumvirate of Water. Notice that Praxis isn't listed, because EQ lore surrounding the water gods is real dumb. Praxis being one of the coolest gods, for some reason is left out. I don't know why. I actually don't know any more about the Triumvirate of Water. I see, I'm not offhand at least. What's the difference between Praxis with an S and Praxus with a Z? Who in chat remembers which race worships Praxus with a Z? Them darn foreheads. Cats? Come on, Mr. Jones. No, it's the Erudites. Is it it might be the only example of a race spelling the name of a god incorrectly. And I have some questions about why they chose Erudites for that particular misspelling. Lannis. I would refer you to one of Body's videos for the Lannis lore. She's the chosen of Inaruk, the daughter of hate. She eventually tries to overthrow Inaruk, and to my knowledge is unsuccessful. Though I don't know why she would be unsuccessful, seeing as half the players on live can solo Inaruk these days. No, Mr. Jones, Prexa's is written on the walls in the Paladin Guild, I want to say, of Arid. Maybe that's the truth, crush them. Maybe only the Erudites have ascertained the true name of Prexis. The bard in my group just said he's trying to decide between Lambent and the Twilight Sea armor set. Do I want to be an Everquest character, or do I want to be the most iconic looking thing in all of Everquest? Mega Man running at bard speed. What? I literally made my first bard after I saw a bard in full Lambent. I was like, alright, scrap this monk. We're going bard. Pretty soon we'll be able to do Dark Forge on this character. It's gonna be nice. Green con? Oh, gross. Some of the guys, some of our high-level Shadow Knights have Dreadscale armor. It seems decent-ish, but I know some of the quests for it are a pain. Rodset Knife. Yeah, Rodset Knife was originally not even supposed to be a god. Did you know that, Mr. Jones? I'm sure you know that. They actually put him in because one of the devs was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we just had an alien in EverQuest? And everyone else was like, okay. The highest level Mandalorian is Mage. No, it's a Necromancer now. So Longhoss is a level 47 Necromancer. Kuwata is a 46 Cleric. He was previously in my group before I died like a scrub. 46 Mage, Corman, and then Raknir, 45 Mage. Yeah. Anyway, there's our listing there. Ignore my 59 Monk. He's just there to hold leader because, like, you don't want to delete the leader account that owns a guild. It becomes very messy. Anyway, Rodset Knife is actually in Classic EverQuest. You can fight him. Same way you fight any in CT, but you don't need to be level 46 to do it, and he doesn't drop any good loot, sadly. He spawns in North Kanos by the Flying Saucer. And it is classic. He does spawn on P99 too. That'd be cool. Crush them. Just have everyone, like, wondering what's up with the UFO the whole time. LOL ruling. I mean, if they're good lore questions, I don't mind. There might be some I just can't answer, though. Think about them. I'll be right back, guys. By the way, Bobby can rename his pet. I don't care. What are you guys all excited about in chat? Did I say something? Is Chinchilla back? Oh, this is a good song too. That Cosmo Canyon theme. All right, Roland. So what lore questions do you have, sir? Hit me with something. Keep in mind that if you ask for something like after the first 6 expansions, I probably won't know anything about it. You guys want to move to the second floor or not yet? One of our monks is level 14 right now. Well, Roland, you know, you could start off easy. You don't have to try to stump me. How would you guys feel about Solasec A? Yeah, Roland, that's garbage lore. I don't know any of that stuff. I mean, I know about Takash's, but I don't know anything about the God of Healing. Sounds like EQ Tutelore to me. Where they retconned shit and made like a bunch of gods that came here beforehand, and there was like all these things living underneath the crust of Norath, like those shadow men or whatever dudes. That's not real lore. That's like what happened when a fan got promoted to developer and got to write lore. Yeah, God of Healing, miss me with that. Sorry. But yeah, Takashi's was the original Elvish capital city on Tuneria, which was the old name for Antonica before Solasec Rho cursed the elves. But basically they had this amazing city, and two terrible things befell them. First, Inaruk came down in the area that we now know as the Oasis. That tower where all the specters are, that marks the spot where Inaruk abducted the High Elf, King and Queen, and used them to form the basis of the Dark Elves to create his own race. So that's where the Dark Elves were created. And then, even worse, Solasec Rho, in a fit of rage, moved the Serpent's Spine Mountain, changing the weather pattern, turning the forests of Tuneria into a desert wasteland, now named after him, the Deserts of Rho. This helped ensure the destruction of Takashi's. No, I think he took both, Roland. I think Gates of Discord was an awesome expansion, personally. Kelethan and the Wood Elves, ABQ. Honestly, I should know more about the Wood Elves, but I really don't. In fact, city lore in general is super challenging to do because there's just so much stuff packed into each city, you know what I mean? We're looking at like 50 quests, tons of notable NPCs and stuff. I think the leader of the Wood Elves is the Heartwood Master, right? Or am I crazy? Alavaz, this is the Netherbian Chitin. It drops from a level 25 to 29 named in Netherbian lair called the Swarm Leader. He spawns like crazy. I think we killed 5 today. Everyone in our group had a Chitin, even if you couldn't wear it. And then one of our group members died on like a bad pool while he was AFK, and we logged out. I also enjoyed playing in the Eldon era, though I didn't play the Eldons. But Everquest was still good at the time. Still fresh. Mm. What the fuck? Yeah, Bard Song is becoming a problem there. Are you guys fighting that stuff? I just dipped. I'm coming back in. I just thought it would be best if I ran. I didn't think you guys were gonna stick around. POR was also a terrible expansion. RIP. Fuker, what's going on, dude? You know, so Roland, what was the last expansion you played up to? If you don't mind me asking. POR honestly isn't terrible to do like once, but it suffers from being an expansion where you have been the same level for 3 consecutive expansions. So everything feels really stale. And then the final boss of Prophecy of Ro, aka Ayane Ro, is a very, very unenjoyable fight that has, I think, a mandatory 20-minute encounter length where you have to click these terrible Banes before you can move her HP down any further. Frank would know. He'd probably remember. Echoes of Fadewar? I don't know if that's an expansion. Secrets of Fadewar is. I assume that's what you meant. I think SOF was awesome. I like the first fight of Death Knell, Tolling of the Dissonant Bells, where there's 4 mobs split around. I think that's the only Death Knell fight I actually like, though. And Bizzle, you know it was a Diet Coke, sir. Switch DPS to kill the Dark Bone quick. I was just trying to get that off the cleric. POR is rough. It's rough to get through. Yeah, the 20 Bane clicks is just terrible. Frank, we're talking about, I think Ayane Ro and Death Knell has a mandatory time. Like, you can't do it any faster because of the way the Banes work, right? It's always about 20 minutes. I like the Depths of Dark Hollow lore. I like the Seeds of Destruction lore, though I'm not super like familiar where I could like spout it off like this. That might be it. That might be it. But after House of Thule, I basically didn't do much, so. I'm sure there would be lore I liked if I delved into it further. Yeah, Lil Math. If my character dies, I delete it. So does everybody else in this guild. Right, yeah, Rulin. It's all about the apotheosis of Mayong Mismore. Harpon, this is the Japan mug. Mr. Jones, I died in Lower Guck, pulling the Ghoul Lord. Yeah, I've got Japan and Indonesia and a few other ones. They're cool. I like them. I prefer my other mug, the usual mug that I use to drink out of, because it's got like a narrower drinking piece. It's just like so wide. There is not a new server. Nah, Charlie's actually still alive. She's too high for us to group with, so she wasn't able to get on tonight because like we just couldn't group with her. But we think next time we do a duo stream, we'll be able to. The problem is our next duo stream is Saturday, and that's actually Champions of Norath Day. So we're going to be doing Champions of Norath Saturday instead of Mandalorian. I had a feeling he was going to root me as soon as I engaged. I expect there will be this year, but we don't have a hard date or rule set yet, Lil. Oh, look at that little pet. All shrunk. Rula, do you want the history of the Shissar? Would you like some Shissar lore? Your name is Matthew. Oh, the L's are borders. Interesting. Yeah, you know, I wonder what the thing is with the ghoul root. I don't know if there's a basis for that in like any other fantasy stuff, is there? Anything with ghoul in the name pretty much has a chance to proc root. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Is that a thing in D&D, ghoul paralysis? Why do ghouls paralyze you in D&D? Okay, makes sense then, I guess. I don't know why D&D has that as a rule, but at least it's clear where they're drawing from. Magic. Got it. Say no more. Dude, I think the Shissar are like the coolest race in EQ. I wish they were playable. Ah, I see, Roland. It's a good thing they kept that in Everquest, where they're not slower. Harpoon? Harpoon? Thanks for the follow. Brownie playable race. Man, gnomes would be so upset by not being the shortest race anymore. Oh, I get it. I understand. LOL, the sexiest. Sorry, No Mercy, I didn't mean to offend. I know you're a big gnome fan. And they're immune to spells which target based on fortitude, right? Anything that has a fortitude save? Am I remembering that wrong? That would actually be really compelling elven racial immunity to root. Imagine that on a PvP server. Oh man. Immune to changes in run speed. I need to make some plat and get some spiritable pots. There we go. Pardon the sound, folks. How deadly is Scarlet Desert for kiting? Dude, it's super safe. You could definitely kite all over Scarlet Desert right now on your hardcore character, Frank. I wouldn't be worried about it at all if I were you. I have to baby the skeleton down here. Does it have the best song in all of EQ? What's weird is didn't Luckland not even have a soundtrack in the game until like a couple years ago? They just like, oops, we forgot it. What did the Shissar do to piss off their gods? Their god was Kazakh-Thul, G-Dunk, and they pissed him off in two big ways. First, they basically abandoned him. They began to worship their emperor instead. He thought he was a god king, and he was seeking a way to truly become a god. So that bothered Kazakh-Thul. I mean, it's heresy, right? And second, they broke into the plains and purportedly successfully killed a god, a demigod of sorts. We don't know which one it is. I don't think it's ever expanded upon. And that was the last straw. Dude, ICM, I'm right there with you. So apparently that song in the Dwarf Town in Crystal Caverns is actually the Othmere Beach music. What's going on, Steel Faith, aka Big Metal Ogre? How you doing, dude? Good to see you here. Oh, Gellet, it's because the thing that landed the killing blow on me, I think, was a Bach Ghoul Knight in Guck, so I just named myself after him. So that I can never forget. As I begin my journey for vengeance. You still playing on Aridun, Steel Faith? It only got released with Agnar hit. Gotcha, that makes more sense now. I haven't listened to the full Luckland soundtrack. I need to get on that. I love grinding AAs. I feel like, for some reason with AAs, there's like no pressure to get a certain number. So I'm just like, I don't care about the zone. Like, I don't need any kind of EXP potions. We're just going to go to wherever we want, whatever camp seems fun. And we're just going to grind. I'm not going to look at the EXP bar, and at the end of the night, I'll have a couple AA. That's the best way. It, like, you really just play Everquest in the purest form. Our Bart said he got wife aggro, but it's okay because he high sunder. Rip. Nice. Shaman Epic, Steel Faith. How many characters do you box on Aridun? Trick question. I feel like in the first couple expansions of EverQuest, exploration was the goal. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you did in EverQuest, was you explored. You were an adventurer, and you adventured. Oh, Brunlin, I know that it has a 2-box limit. That was the point of the question. G-Dunk, thanks for the follow. Or sorry, thanks for the Prime sub. I got my script mixed up. I know you're a cheater, Metal Ogre. Don't you lie to me. You're probably boxing like 10 characters on there. Dang, you didn't like Agnar? Wait, you still enjoyed it, but you think it was garbage? Why did you not like? What was garbage about it, Roland? I'm interested. 100% Anthony. Like, you were meant to play it. You know, honestly, like, Everquest really is just like that Dungeons and Dragons campaign, like, graphically represented so you could do it, so you could walk around and see it with your own eyes. Like, the game world is the Dungeon Master. And that's what's so cool about it. Once it became, like, a more linear goal, like, there is a final boss. You are meant to kill this boss. It became a little bit less interesting. And I know that happened to some extent fast. Like, you could say that Classic had a final boss. I think you'd kind of be wrong in that. But you could say, like, Velius, like Vulak or the Sleeper or whatever, you know what I mean? But I really think that was kind of like a side thing. It was just the top rate content. But eventually, expansions come out and they do have, like, a very linear progression, and they do have a very clear-cut final boss and a goal for the player characters. But you log into Classic Everquest, you're like, what am I supposed to do? You're like, press the forward key and keep doing that until you're not having fun anymore. Submariner. Mando's going well. Sort of. I died, but, you know, round 2 right here. Still having fun. Thanks for the follow. The story of Discord and the Chaos Invaders. You should do it. It's not too late, Submariner. People die every day and reroll at level 1, so it's always a great time. It almost feels like a real EverQuest server, like from back in the day, because there was always new people leveling up. Same thing in Mandalorian, except they're all salty about it eventually. Lack of rules from the devs, guides, GMs made it kind of a shit show. So much drama about all sorts of stuff. I feel like I just don't remember a lot of drama on Agnar, but I suppose I was in like a privileged position. What guild were you in? Yeah, there were 24/7 botting mages in Runny Eye, that is true, but they did get banned right before Kunark, by the way. What are you thinking, Fuker? That's true. Rolling your character, you're not rolling anything. Man, Submariner, I feel like there is a lot of pet classes at the top, like a lot of Mage Necromancer, very Mage Necro heavy in the top end. Very melee light. This might be obvious, right, when you look at the rule set that kind of thing would happen. Not a lot of Paladins. I almost wish I had just remade a Paladin, because there's like none of them out there. The top tanks we have are all Shadow Knights. Go figure. Yeah, like Monk, Rogue, Ranger, Paladin, Warrior would all be super rare and cool to see. I think Druid is the rarest caster class. And Beast Lord is super common. There's a lot of Beast Lords. Oh, you were in Zerdula. I love those guys. Were you Zerdula before or after the crazy original guild leader left? Or were you there like the whole time? Dude, Lay on Hands is so good. Before and a little after. Yeah, Bosch is a real good guy. He's now an officer in Faceless Conquest and has been for like 2.5 years. I like him. Like him a lot. And Zerdula was always like a top-notch professional guild on the server. Always appreciated having them there. I was in Faceless. It could happen, Beef. Here come 2. No, no, no. Alright, so you want Discordian lore. I didn't forget Roland, sorry about that. I was just trying to catch up on chat before I do any kind of rants. So if we're talking about like Discord Tower lore and stuff like that with SOD, I'm not hip enough to it to talk to it. So I only did it one time. But if we're talking about Gates of Discord, Almost War lore, basically what we know about the Discordians at that time. Well, first, like as players, right? There's a hidden continent out there that we've never seen or heard of called Teologia. And the Teolosians have their own pantheon of gods that they worship. And they are tricked into letting the Discordians into Norath, which basically dooms their continent. I think they think the people they're talking to are Trushar, but it's really the Discordians in disguise. They get tricked into letting them in, and that's when Overlord Madamaram sends his vanguard, led by Tunat Maram Kuvax, to assault Norath, starting with Teologia. They arrive, quickly subjugate the continent of Teologia, and then we find out, we roll in there, and in lore terms, we stop them. We save the Teolosians, or what's left of them. The Nihil, is that what the correct term is for that group of people, the Nihil? Anyway, we save them. We stop Tunat, and then we find a way to travel to the lands of Discord and take the fight to them before they can mount another force against us. Oh, no. Okay, I thought he was going to take the long route. So we go to Discord, and we find out a little bit more about the Discordians, which is basically like they go from plane of existence to plane of existence, attacking the people there. They subjugate all the peoples or kill them, take the resources, kill the gods. It's said that Overlord Madamaram wears the skulls of dead gods from places he's conquered around his armor, like ornaments. And if there's a race that they think is particularly useful for them, they take that race and make it part of their armies. And that's how the majority of the races that we see in Discord actually came to be a part of that. So that creates the whole downfall of Madamaram's forces. He's got a group of people called the Rift Seekers that they have subjugated, and that gives him the power to travel, between planes and stuff like that. Just like we have the planes rifts from Empsra, the Rift Seekers have that natural ability to just find rifts in planes and travel through the planes. But they're not very happy. Their king and queen still exist, King Glacua and Queen Pyronus, and they're not thrilled about being subjugated by the Discordians. And so when you go to the Citadel of Anguish and you fight against Madamaram, they intervene on your behalf and assist you in defeating him. And though most raids, no doubt, these days could crush him without their help, I think in lore terms, it seems to be implied that you would have lost were it not for the betrayal of the I forget their name all of a sudden. I was just talking about it and I can't remember their name. But you know what I'm saying. That was the end. The end. I love Gates of Discord and Almost War. Rift Seekers, there we go. Man, look at that, guys. I'm playing too much EverQuest these days. My brain is rotting in my head. Right. I wonder what race of the Norathian group would have been taken on. I would guess it would be the Ixar or the Ogres/Trolls. It would be like one of the big races, you know what I mean, that they would probably take. Gidunk, she did not. We met in high school, and she played EQ because I played EQ. I think the races look really cool too, especially the Dragorn. Oh man, Fuker, that's awesome, dude. I'm so hyped to see the progress of your Dwarf Pally. Me too, Noob Cake. I think if the ogres had been uncursed, they would have been potentially too much. Too much for the Discordians to handle. There's like this weird paradox where like we, the players, can defeat Madmaram, but he can kill the gods of other pantheons. I don't know, it's all kind of weird. Like the ultra powerful pre-nerf ogre, giant, goblin, orc armies of Ralos Zek couldn't kill the Wrath Council, but like me and 30 dudes can. I don't know, man. Here's the crazy thing. I bet you could make a raid of 72 ogres and do the Wrath Council right now. So why couldn't the whole Relosian Empire do it back in the day? That's my question. And if you guys remember the lore, when they went to the plane of Earth, Ralos Zek marched with them. He led the raid. So apparently RZ is just a terrible raid leader. Is it because they don't have enough off healing? You guys remember there was the PvP server where you were divided based on good, neutral, and evils, and the evils actually got blocked for a long time in Planes of Power because it couldn't do the Wrath Council. Now I get it, nobody could do the Wrath Council back in the day, but without druids and paladins and stuff like that, they like were really hurting for off healers, for people who were tanking the 6 Wrath Council members. It was really challenging for them, more so than your average server because they were all evils. The guy who helps you fight Jelvin. I don't remember. I'd have to look at it ghost-faced. Did I miss a question from ICM? ICM, I don't see it. If I missed it, I apologize. Trying to look on the seller's progress, but it's not looking so hot. Yeah, there's no reason to keep track of anything on there. Like, I don't think Faceless ever submitted a kill there, even from back in the day when the server first started. Oh, I know they killed some of the Wrath Council members, hence Lake Wrath, which is populated by the tears of the Wrath Council members, and hence Wrath Mountains, where we see the hands of the dead Wrath Council members eternally protruding from the earth. But dang, dude, me and a couple of my friends beat them. You know what I mean? We just straight up won. Feels bad, man. I get it. It's just like a video game thing, you know? Sometimes when I look at the lore events over time in EverQuest, I feel like I'm like reading about Dragon Ball Z, like the power scaling gets all weird after the first couple ones. Quickly on the goblins. Zeathol, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. We actually don't know what happened to the goblins after the curse. They're the one who we find out the least about. It just says like their curse was so severe that no information remains about what happened to them or what they were like before the curse. Like the orcs were separated and condemned to like tribalism, so they'd always be fighting and never organized again. The ogres were struck dumb. The great magics were taken away from the giants. Slazik, I don't know anything about Wu except that he was one of the old monk masters, and he was given a piece of divinity by, I guess, Vishan, right? Because he's in the plane of sky. He was ascended to the plane of sky to serve as a quest giver / tester of mortals. I agree, Frank. Pop really introduced a lot of problems with all subsequent EverQuest lore. Hey, Zeathol, I'm glad. Are you in Mando yet? Have you made your character? Is there? What expansion is it? I'm trying to think. Ah. Sounds like Seeds of Discord. Or sorry, Seeds of Destruction. That's the time travel one. Any lore info on Crushbone? Yeah, a little bit. The Crushbone lore is like relatively straightforward. It's expanded in the oh hey look, it's Duros. It's expanded in the Everquest online. Sorry, not online. It's expanded in the Everquest tabletop role-playing game. But it's like very, very significantly expanded to the point where you're like, is this really the lore? So like they go into like the lineage of the Emperor Crush dynasty. Like he's like the 7th Emperor Crush. There's been a lot of them. They've ruled for a long time. They talk about how like the keep, Crushbone Citadel, I think it's called. They like really expand on it. Like he grinds up the bones of his victims and bakes it into the bricks. So when you look at the Citadel, it's very ominous. But also Emperor Crush has like this crown that allows him to, 1, communicate with any orc within 100 miles of him, and 2, like control the undead. They like really add a whole lot. And they add so much that I have a hard time like really counting it, you know what I mean? Ah, that sucks, Ethel. Well, we're going to do it again whenever TLP 2021 launches. We're going to do a fresh start with this same idea. So that'll be a really good time to join as well. Yeah, I did notice that, Frank, because I always see it, you know, when I'm entering the DZ. But yeah, but let me give you like a little bit more legit lore, G-Dunk. So the Crushbone orcs, like we said with the curse thing, they weren't really made that much worse in terms of their like intelligence levels and stuff after the curse on Ralos' creations, which is why we see like if you go there, they still have buildings. Like they built the Citadel of Crushbone, right? That keep the castle that he's in. If you go to their smithing area, they're not smithing their own weapons because they have slave dwarves that do that. But you look, they do have like a sign, you know what I mean, that has writing on it, and it's all very like intelligible for lack of a better term. And they have forged a relationship with the Dark Elves of Neriak. Now, this is more the Dark Elves doing than the Orcs doing. But it still speaks to a lot of like, you know, their capabilities and stuff. So Ambassador Divin is in Crushbone because it behooves the Dark Elves to essentially wage a proxy war against the High Elves and the Wood Elves just by keeping the Crushbone Orcs well armed and armored and, you know, encouraging them to continue assaulting the Elves. And even though the Orcs stand little chance of ever actually defeating the Elves, it keeps them busy, it keeps them pinned down, and it, you know, slowly hurts them with attrition. So that's a big thing that the Dark Elves have an interest in, because while they're doing that, the Dark Elves are just continuing to progress unabated. Honestly, Slazik, if you're playing Mandalorian, right, and you see how well mages are doing in the first Mandalorian guild, which should have been obvious that this was going to happen, like, the idea behind Mandalorian is such that when you see certain classes doing incredibly well, you should want to not play those classes. Like, it's great that people are succeeding with them, but you want to challenge yourself, right? So you don't want to pick those classes if you know you're going to crush it with those classes. Camdolph, good to see you. Dude, Alpha Blue, I was just saying this. I need to get out of Unrest. I want to never see this zone again. Dude, Ziethel, that's a good question. I searched all over the place for Sindrila lore, because it's like so weird, right? This named erudite just sitting there. I've gotten like scraps and hints of lore about Sindrila. Let me catch up on chat and then I'll talk about it. Yeah, Roland, that sounds like some fanfic that was made up 10 years after the original lore was conceived. About the goblins, I mean. At a certain point in the EverQuest timeline, I kind of stopped taking a little bit of the lore seriously, because you reach a point where none of the original lore creators are involved, and that the original lore documents that governed a lot of the lore as it expanded further out have been exhausted, and so now it's just like a new group of people who didn't work on the original EverQuest series at all, making new lore. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like a tier of separation in my mind, you know? ICM, I don't think we'll make a Faceless on TLP 2021. Faceless is about to hit live. That's like the end goal. There's no reason to ever do another TLP guild. Right, yeah, just like that, Brunlin. Okay, so Sindrila, Ziathul. What I was able to find on Sindrila, I think she was basically... I think she is pretty much a leftover from a GM event. So if you remember way back in the day, Everquest lore was done in-game live via GM events. And if you missed them, and no one took a video, which no one did, 1999, basically no videos exist. Very small number of videos exist. That's it. You just didn't know the lore. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things like that. Fortunately, some of those legends were written down either in the game or by players so much that they exist today, like the Battle of Bloody Kithcore is well documented. But there were a ton of lore events, which were official lore, which are pretty much permanently lost because they weren't really well documented anywhere. They were done one time on each server, and that was it. It's done. Sindrila, I'm pretty sure, is one of those characters. She was one of the chosen faithful of Khazak Thul, the erudites of Paniel worship CT. And she went to the zone, Khazak Thul, the temple there, the accursed temple, as it were, to attempt to get closer with him. And while she was traveling there, she kept having dreams and visions, and it drew her out into this secret area in the Firat. And she found that she could open a portal to the plane of hate there because she was so devout and chosen. And that's why she's there, because she is the one who opened the portal initially to gain access to plane of fear. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But unverified. Lost in some sense to the sands of time. Just the beast. Alpha, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm excited to see you and P Sharky playing, and it's no surprise to me that the prominent P99 players here have gone like with Beast Lore because it's not available on P99, so I think it's really cool to see you guys doing that. Hope you're having fun with it. It's really hard for me to balance my competitive nature with my casual playtime and my, desire for this to ultimately be a relatively casual experience. I was super butthurt that my paladin died because it was like, I wanted to be the first Ghoul Lord kill in the guild. And now I'm not. I think Longhoss and Kawada, aka Chinchilla, aka my cleric buddy here supporting, killed the Ghoul Lord today. And then Triori, aka Majoba, aka Big Arachnos, aka God King VV in the chat, aka has too many names, killed the Froglock King today too. So all the cool targets are dead. Big Zaide had no input, no help. Just wasting away on this troll. I wish that the Sarnak were a playable race in EQ1. They should have been. Like, they have everything set up for it. Rev, I got killed while pulling Ghoul Lord / Ghoul Lord room. The first Chottle kill. I'm going to be the first Finny. No, I'm just kidding. If I say Finny kill, 2 mages are going to go solo Finny or duo Finny while I'm on this stream. I can't reveal my next goal, otherwise someone else in the guild will do it. So Rev, what I was doing, because I was level 37 and these are like 45 to 47 mobs in that room, I was walking up with IVU on, standing just outside of melee range, like right here, and pressing taunt and then running away before they could melee me. But in this case, because the difference between taunt range and melee range is just a speck, you know what I mean? It's very tiny. What happened was I walked into melee range, pressed taunt, and just so happened that the very first hit, he procced root, and it was all over for me from there on. My group was all the way down in the safe hall because I was pulling all over the place. I was pulling Frenzy, Ghoul Lord, all the way up to Ghoul Lord, all the way back to Executioner. I was doing the whole basically bottom floor of the dead side. And there was just no way for them to get to me in time. Yeah, definitely better than Space Cat for sure. Paladins get DA at level 48. I was 37, unfortunately. I did have lay on hands, which I used and was not sufficient. They burned through my HP, popped LOH, and they burned through it again. Okay, Alpha Blue, let me show you actually. This is actually the perfect zone to illustrate the power of taunt pulling. I'm sure there's something I can taunt pull around here. Alright, so normally when you engage this mob right here, that mob would assist right there, right? Makes sense? We'll just wait for like a server tick. I did it too poorly because I ran into the mob. But I'll show you when one of these mobs in a room respawns. And this doesn't work on P99 for some reason, by the way. It's an exploit that exists only on retail. Drogmeat, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Tannis, thanks for the follow. Sorry, Frank, it's creative use. Don't use the E word. I use exploit as a term of endearment. Don't say exploit, say cheater tricks. So 15, I sold. I made about 300 plat. He's not as geared as you might think. But I made about 300 plat from selling animal pelts and spiderling silks to our guild smithers who need them for the leather padding, or the cheater.taunt. They need it for like their padding for plate armor. So I made about 300 platforming all that crap over the last couple days, which I used to basically, I spent 200 plat of that on plate armor. And by the way, it's not like I got a full suit of plate. I got like the hands, the arms, and the legs. And then my chest is in a Thurbian shit, and we had like 10 of those drop today. I think we actually had 5 drop. Oh, hey, what's up, dude? And I bought a black and alloy longsword from Frank. I think that's about all I have. Nah, Rulin, have you seen what taunt pulling does? There's no way. LOL, looking through walls, very different. And honestly, looking through walls is probably an exploit. I imagine they put walls in places specifically to stop you from looking through them. All right, check this out. This will be the perfect one to show you. Please don't aggro me. Okay, look at this. The Darkbone Skeleton is up. The Brewer is up. Nothing in the corner. But anyway, if I engaged either one of these normally, both would come. I'm gonna stand on the other side of this wall. See this Brewer right here? I'm gonna press taunt. There he is. Here comes the Brewer. All by himself. Yeah, I bought the shield for 50 platinum right before the stream. Felt very nice. If that ain't an exploit. So when you taunt a mob, right? Yeah, exactly what Frank's saying. Nothing will assist. It's basically not seen as a hostile action by the rest of the game. Only the mob you taunted. It's almost like taunting forces them to aggro you, but there's nothing else wrong. As long as you don't buff yourself or engage them in any other way, including like a riposte, as long as you don't do any of that, you will not get aggro. But it also means that like they only check for social aggro on mobs like every 6 seconds. So you could walk into a room full of KOS mobs, And if you do the timing just right, you can walk up to one in the middle, taunt it, and walk out, and you won't get any other mobs. It's a little bit hard, but you could do it. With Invis, it's even easier. I don't want to aggro this room. Sometimes you do. Alright, check this out. So I'm going to taunt the Reclusive Ghoul Magus. He is in a room with 5 mobs. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 5 total mobs in the room, not counting his pet. He's going to come out solo, through this wall, walk down the stairs, and come all the way to my group with no ads, unless I get a bunch of ads from this door from just walking by proximity aggro. Taunt. Alright, here he comes. He's just going to walk to my group casually. And Bardsong hit me. This could make it spicy. We're going to get ads from Bardsong. We need to run. We need to zone immediately. Now our Bard is rooted. Are you still rooted? Alright, let's run. May as well give us Pulse of the Celos. Anyway, if we did not get Bardsong there, he would have came solo. But it's just like we said, because I got a buff during the pull, suddenly everything was active. You know what I mean? As soon as I saw the notes, I was like, oh no, Bard. Everyone make it out? Where's Pied at? Okay. The moral of the story. Oh no. Chat, I lost my shrink. Zone in. I was hoping to get back in time for the Magus to still be here. The Monk is like, meh, but okay. Rulin, I don't have a shaman with me. Drop that harm touch on him. Ooh, we got his rare. The gloves are the rare drop from the Magus. What's going on, P Sharky? Good to see you. Savaka, I think you could still use either Disarm or Beg to do the same thing that you do with Taunt. It's just not as easy or as reliable. Oh my gosh, the legendary trolley is going to come shrink me. I will be shrunk one day. Frank, so you confirm Beg works the same way? I knew that was going to happen. Catch you later, G-Dunk. Duras is just, you know, what people wanted to play, I guess. Beast Lords are a lot of fun. That's a good point, Noob Cake. I should communicate with them. Yeah, it's really broken in zones like Chardock. Now just combine the taunt pull with the door skip and Chardock, and oh baby. Pull all the royals solo, right to the zone line. Prathen's gone, so I can talk about the door skip without getting banned. Door skip works on P99 too. He'll definitely get banned there though. Oh, grats, P Sharky. You finally got that forage item. Sword and Whiskey, we need you to come play that young warrior for us. Got a pile of mobs here. The problem with Unrest too is like the basement of Unrest is such good EXP because, especially because of that mushroom. There's a charm pet you can get in the basement of Unrest that AoE slows all the mobs on incoming. It's nuts, and it's a real tanky pet. You got it, Swords. You got it. But yeah, Warrior's definitely hard. First, it's hard to attract someone to play a Warrior with this rule set. It's like, hey, if there's too many mobs, you're just dead. No backup plan. No special abilities. Dude, Braxis, I want to get those Hallis pies, but they're so expensive, man. 10 pounds a stack. Oh, man. Like, if I buy your 10-pound meat pies, I can't afford to go AFK. You know what I need to do? I need to, like, put them in my top slot, but constantly, like, eat my other food so I never actually consume any of the meat pies. Big brain. P Sharky, someone's gonna have to take one for the team, dude. There's no extra lives. There's no exit strategies. Someone's gonna enter the Hall of Greatness for taking Death Touch. Imagine what a legend you'll be. Everything you have done in Everquest to this point will be less notable than being able to say that you took the first Death Touch in Mandalorian. People are gonna remember that. They're gonna put it on your tombstone. Here lies P Sharky. He sacrificed the level 60 Beast Lord to Kazakh Thule. His guild wiped, but they still remember him. Oh man. Raven Nation, here's your inner rook. That's awesome, 7 kills. I'm glad to hear that. You have any idea what you want to play? So guys, let me tell you about some of the revised rules I'm thinking, because like, you know, this is really the test run for Mandalorian. We plan to do this again on TLP 2021 as our primary, I think that's going to be like our primary launch. The real one. We're going to have like 200 plus members at launch, I bet. So I think I'm going to limit it to 2 boxes. Like a total of 2 characters that you can play. Your main and your box. Because 3 boxing, 4 boxing, 6 boxing, meh, not a big fan of that in this context. We're going to set item prices in the guild for like selling, buying items that drop to be 1-to-1 lined up with the server average of the local server. We'll be locked in Classic on a Classic server, so we should be able to pretty fairly base our prices on the server average, but we can only buy within the guild. And then we're going to revise some of the bounty targets. We're going to expand the bonuses that you can get for rarity, so that certain super rare mobs can give you more points, like Dune Digger, right? If you kill Dune Digger, you should get more points than the 5 times bonus that comes with the rarity mod he has. And it's not a multiplier of 5, it's like a +5, then multiplied by 10. So those are some of the rules we're going to change. And we might, for certain ultra rare mobs on the bounty list, we might remove the level cap requirement. So basically, like, if you don't get EXP when you kill a bounty mob, you do not get credit for the bounty. But for things like Dune Digger, who is a really ultra rare, like level 6 mob, well, we don't want you to park a character at level 10 forever trying to get this mob, you know what I mean? You should get bounty credit whether or not you kill it. And we'll do that for certain ultra rare, low level bounty targets. What do you guys think? Oh snap, Trolley's here. Who does not want Shrink? Alright, supporting just drop for a sec. Charlie's invited. Charlie's gonna shrink my group. Oh yeah. And we might have certain bonuses, like we're thinking about other things you can get points for rather than just bounties, like quest completions. The only thing is you want to try to find a way to be fair, and there's certain classes that just get a lot of cool quests, and other classes are kind of left out in the dark. But yeah, I think there is more room for points on the leaderboard beyond just bounties. Right, Savaka. That's true. 2 box is powerful, but right now we have people who are like 3-4 boxing, which is even crazier. My big thing is like playing Mandalorian, you're here for the challenge, right? Like that's the mindset you should have. So if you're gonna 2 box and you're gonna play like something that you know is very overpowered, you're only doing yourself a disservice. That's really what it is. Like, you're defeating the point. But if that's what makes you happy, that's fine. Because ultimately, playing Everquest should be something that brings you fun and enjoyment. So if you're not getting that, you're doing it wrong. And if, playing something besides a druid necro box on your hardcore character is not going to make you have fun, well, then do what's Revs, I really like that idea of giving them a title. Whoever's in the lead at the time gets a title. That'd be cool. Like Mandalore. You are the Mandalore, aka the king of the Mandalorians. Alright, I think we're all shrunk, Charlie. Thank you for your time. I've re-invited supporting. Right, Launchpad. Yeah, if you do !guild, you can see all the rules that govern the Guild Mandalorian. There's quite a lot of them. Some of them won't need to exist on the fresh TLP because we'll be locked in Classic, but we can only buy, trade, sell, port, buff, group, etc. with guildies. We can't play with anyone outside the guild. And if we die, we delete our characters. You should, Beef, right? I do, P-Sharky, I do still need Acrylian Phosphate. You cannot PL. That's another thing. I should get a little bit more specific on some of the buff rules, you know what I mean? Because I put the rule out, like, hey, you can't PL, and people are like, why can't I buff this guy? Because I'm like, hey, you shouldn't buff them, that's PL, and you're like, is it really? And it's a weird line, you know what I mean? Like, is giving someone Spirit of Wolf PLing them? Probably not. Yeah, you can't PL guildies or anything. I wish we could, because my group was like level 40 and they have a bunch of PL classes in it. When my paladin died, I'd be level 40 already. But you can't. Shrinking and Unrest is more powerful than PLing Rip. Good thing I make the rules. That's another thing. That's actually Braxis that I want to bring up. Like, I'm thinking that when we look at summoned mage gear, which there's not a whole lot of summoned mage gear in Classic anyway, but a good rule of thumb, now that we've experienced it a little bit, is you can only give summoned gear to characters who are within like 2 levels of the spell that of the level of the spell that you're casting. You know what I mean? So if you need level 30 to summon plate armor, and I'm just spitballing that number by the way, then you can only give summon plate to 28s and lower. Something like that. Because initially I said, yeah, it's fine, you can give summon gear to players. It doesn't count. And I didn't realize when I said that how crazy good some of the summon gear is, especially with Luckland spells on. There's like gear with all kind of stats and focus effects you can give out. Right, Corman. Yeah, and Corman would know better than anyone because he's like the king mage in the guild right now. And actually was the person who asked me for it at the very beginning on day 1. Did I forget? Oh yeah, Cello launch. You know, I don't know. I remember we used them, but you finish that part of the game so fast, Frank. Yeah, Slastic. I meant the one that wasn't dumb. My brain just betrayed me and made me say the wrong words. Caitlin, the dwarf, died in Lower Guck, as always. Dude, the summon plate is pretty legit. It's like 17 AC for a breastplate with no stats, but I mean, that's like a bronze breastplate, isn't it? And remember, on the TLP 2021, we won't even have focus effects. Also, mage pets won't be as good. I think the mage pet HP nerfs come off in Luckland, right? Am I correct in that? So on Agnar, mage pets are actually more powerful than they will be on a fresh TLP launch. You got it. I put it in guild chat, Frank. Oh, you know what? Rect, that's actually a good video to post to show how crazy Taunt is. I solo pull Garanel Ruxiv. If you have the link in the Discord still, you feel free to post that right in the channel here. Nice, Western Waste, that's what's up. Are you in the guild? Hey, look, Seeger's in. Level 4, what a baddie. Frank, you should go group with Seeger. Oh, you tagged him? LOL. He said he hates Kanos area. He regrets leveling up there. There you go. So the video that Rex just linked, I like jump over a bridge, taunt Garanel Ruxiv, jump back over the bridge, pull him out through the pit solo with no ads, and then fight him and kill him. You take it back, Rulin. Kanos is the best area in Everquest. Yeah, there we go. Endusco knows what I'm talking about. Black Burrow into bandits. I mean, if you're trying to race to level 50 as fast as you can, yeah, Kanos is a sure path to failure. That's for sure. Grog meat, summon a zombie, here you go. Perfect NPC to summon for this zone. No, man, bandits begin at level 10. Launchpad? I don't think so. So, yeah, what I'm thinking for that is we'll just have like a few Brave Souls run around and tag everybody. Apollo, if you do exclamation mark guild, you can see all the details about Mandalorian. But the deal is we have a bunch of rules. We have a bounty board. We have a list of bounty targets. So at the end of Mandalorian, whoever has the most bounty points technically is the winner of the challenge. Though really, you're just challenging yourself to have fun. Pod Gaming. Why is Kazakh the only god option for the Ixar? The Ixar are actually the chosen race of Kazakh Thule. So CT has created a few races, among them the Alizeu, aka the lizard men that we see in Firat, the trolls of Grob, the Shisar, and the Ixar. Probably he's created some more that I'm forgetting. But he considers the Ixar his favored children, his chosen people. And he imbues them with all his fear god love. And they worship him very, very devoutly for that reason. So he is the only god they can worship. And more importantly, like, you have to look at the Ixar as a race. They are very structured, very orderly, and very organized. And generally in Ixar society, outliers are not tolerated. And it's not even the same kind of not tolerated that we see in other societies where, like, you know, you gotta hide in the sewers if you worship the wrong god. Like, there was a Ixar famously who practiced magic that was not necromancy. He was an enchanter, and he was killed and tortured to death. Or he captured and tortured to death for being an enchanter. He was devout, he worshipped Kazakh Thule, everything was good, but he was an enchanter instead of a necromancer. They killed him. So they don't tolerate people who deviate. And that's pretty much why all the Ixar worship CT. Rip, got deleted character, Kahal? See, that was a successful taunt. Walked in the room, taunted him before he proximity aggroed me, and then no ads. But yeah, so getting people in guild at level 1 on Mandalorian TLP 2021 will be a little bit more challenging, for sure. There's a few logistical things that we could do to try to get around that. First, we're gonna have probably what I'm gonna do is my first character. I'm not gonna be like officially in Mandalorian. I'm gonna race to level 50 as fast as I can, but I'll create Mandalorian on that character, and I'll tag anyone I'm in zone with as we run through, and that'll help us spread it out. Yo, ICM, I think it is actually... You ever hear when people are talking about, like, fear and stuff, like primal fears, they'll say, like, oh, yeah, that scares me in, like, my old reptile part of my brain. People use, like, that terminology. I think maybe it's kind of related to that. Yeah, but we won't have teleporters in a classic launch wrecked, right? No, man, Mistmore made Drachnids. Oh, yeah. That's true for the boats. We don't have to do boats. Slazik, I would say no, because here's actually something I've been toying with on the whole expansion thing. If it starts in Classic, when Kunark comes out, there's going to be a ton of new 1 through 50, 1 through 60 content that Mandalorians haven't had a chance to do, and if you roll into that with all your level 50 characters, you miss out on a huge part of it, right? So I was almost thinking that when we start, like if we have a normal Classic launch, boom, 3 months goes by, we're done with Classic. With Kunark, I was almost thinking of doing like a fresh Mando launch. We all start at level 1 again. And then you have that's when we introduce the Kunark bounty list and people try to get all the Kunark bounties and stuff. Velius, we don't do that because Velius is like not targeted at low levels. But then in Luckland, we do the same thing again. We wouldn't force people to play Ixar or Vashir to be part of that, but it would be a good way to get people like leveling up, get people who are interested in doing it but want a fresh start. They get a fresh start with it, you know? And you can keep your old characters and stuff too. But yeah, we would coordinate a big mass like, hey, everyone go level 1 and we'll do all the 1 through 50 targets in Kunark. So I'm kind of thinking about doing that. The only bad thing about doing Mando on a TLP 2021 is that you're going to have to deal with the trash part of the Everquest player base quite heavily, you know what I mean, with things being camped and people like trying to DPS race you and train you and stuff like that, things that you don't have to deal with on Agnar at all. That, to be fair though, Slazik, it's not to say that I couldn't be persuaded to let people use race change potions. Yeah, Roland, but to do a private server, you would immediately cut out like literally hundreds of potential applicants. I'm pretty sure I have friends who I could just be like, hey, can you make this server? And they would make it. So for me, it would be like nowhere. But yeah, no, I don't think I lose out on any applicants of value by doing it on a TLP. That's just my personal belief here. Get off that. What are we fighting, the mummy? Yeah, we're gonna do it on TLP because I want to do it on TLP. I guess that's like the ultimate reason. I really prefer the legitimacy of playing on retail servers whenever possible. React, you can use pet name potions now. Go ahead. It's really hard to put my finger on why I prefer to play on retail servers, even though I acknowledge that P99 is a better, more classic server than any TLP that has or probably ever will be created. There's just a certain legitimacy that comes with playing on retail, just maybe in my mind, maybe it's all in my head, you know what I mean? But that's just how I feel about it. So for that reason, I always try to play on TLPs. Yes, Alpha, I put out that we can now use pet name change potions. The guild successfully harassed me into changing that rule. Unfortunately, yeah, we're going to see a lot more people that you don't want to be around on a fresh TLP than you would on, like, certainly on an emulator server that I control. I agree there's too many pet classes. We should have a quota, like, too large of a percent of our class base is mage, we're closing mage applications. We could do a multiplier based on your class toward your bounty score. Like if you're a rogue, you just get a raw ×2 to all bounties. If you're a mage or a necromancer, you get like you multiply your bounty scores by 0.3. .2. Yeah, that's fine. Rule 0 takes care of the biggest griefing opportunities against Mandalorian, so that's fine. Sup? Plagues, in this guild we have a bounty board with targets and point values for each target, and we keep a weekly and overall leaderboard based on like who's killed what targets and stuff. I should have announced it before I started the stream, but I think right now Ghastly might be winning. Ghast Monk. He was winning last time I checked. Oh! Oh my gosh, chat, look at me. Look at me being a baddie. My chatbot has been offline the entire night. Jeez. You make partner and you just stop caring. Give me a sec. There you go. There's the guild. There's the guild spreadsheet with all the rules, and you guys can see the bounty list and all that jazz there. So let's look at the bounty board right now. Gas Monk is still winning. Alex 5 passed me. Mando passed me. Once you get a rip, once you die, you stop getting bounty points. Like, bounty points are tied to your character, not to the person behind the character. So, good old Zaide Sucks got 5,060 bounty points, and now we'll track separately for Zaide Bach. Yeah, Sword and Whiskey, this is on the Agnar. I'm pulling right now, just in case Bart's on. Try to baby these down the back stairs. If I just run off full sprint, they'll go down the front stairs over here and pull a bunch of mobs. But like this way, if Bartong even did hit me, I still shouldn't have gotten any ads. And Bartong did hit me here, so... Oh, big sword of whiskey made of warrior sword. What zone are you in? Can you get into POK if you're not in Field of Bone? We'll get you hooked up with Guild Invite. How many people do we have on right now? Who all guild? 45 players. The numbers are dwindling, folks. I feel like we should have like a solid 60 on right now. Let's see, list. General has 188 people in it. Is it late-ish? Yeah, I guess it's kind of late. We'll see what it is on Saturday. This is a pet. All the Euro players are sleeping. Thanks, Roland. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I could see that. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. See, the problem is people would PL characters who had not initially leveled up. That would be bad. Or what I could do is I could level a really stupid easy class first, and then power level the more challenging classes. You know what I mean? Like I'll level a Necro to 50 and then power level my Rogue to 50 after that. Right, Launchpad, yeah. We're like our own little entity. We're present, but we're not at the same time. Too far. Right here? Where was I supposed to go? Here. What is this guy? A carrion ghoul. 3. Yeah, I'm glad a lot of people seem to be liking the bounties. Some people don't care about it, and that's fine. It's good because the bounty thing is unobtrusive enough that if you like it, you can go hard in it. And if you don't like it, you can just totally ignore it and you still get the hard rule set and people to play with, you know? That's what I wanted. I wanted rules like that were unobtrusive, but provided value if you liked them. That's how I feel now that I died Slazik. I'm like, I want nothing more than to catch up with my crew and be able to play with them on our mains again. And so I feel like if I hunt for bounties, I'll really hold them back from that. Hey, pirate. Good to see you, by the way. It is a nice word. Unobtrusive. YouTube, video pause, continue watching. Yes, YouTube. When I want the video paused, I'll pause it. Happy Wednesday. Oh, man. The rest of my week is basically like a living nightmare. Starting today, I think, right? Yeah, today was the first part of my nightmare half of the week. Can't wait. Right, and some of the bounty points are targets that you're just going to hit anyway. I'll check it out, Alpha. My group's talking about going to Planet Hate this weekend, making me feel bad. I can't listen. Young level 20 Zaide will never be there. Let me see. Rex might be. Rex always in POC. Yeah, we have a ton of people in there. Alpha Blue is in Plane of Knowledge right now. He could probably tag you. What's your character name, Swords and Whiskey? Plagues. Bounty targets are NPC. Ah, okay, Rex. Sorry about that. All right. If you are in chat and you are in Plane of Knowledge, Old Man Krillin, use an invite. Thanks, Alpha Blue. By the way, chat, if you don't already know this, Alpha Blue is a fellow Everquest streamer. I really like his stream. It's probably like one of the highest quality streams for Everquest out there right now. Certainly higher quality than my stream. He's up there with Larry in my opinion. So very enjoyable watch. Check him out if you haven't already. And he also streams a bunch of other stuff that's not EQ. If you're into other things besides EQ, you might be into some of those things. I've really been enjoying Alpha Blue's recent streams in GTA 5, like a roleplay server he's doing. I watch it while I play Valheim. It's the least I could do, Alpha Blue. Hey, Savaka, thanks for the follow.
This is the way.
I think Alpha mostly streams on the weekends, right, Alpha? He does like a ultra long Saturday stream every Saturday. Don't root me. Don't root me. Good ghoul. You guys like that back pedal down the stairs? That's because my mouse went off my screen onto the other screen. Pied, what level are you now? Yeah, everybody in the group will be comfortably within grouping range of Trolley. By next duo stream, the challenge will be staying within range of Trolley, the opposite end. She's 27. We'll probably play a little bit between and just get Trolley to like a solid 30 at least. You could be planar and still group. I don't use any program launchpad. It was just vanilla Everquest. And my mouse just goes between. I'm in windowed mode. Gonna pull a pile of bombs here, maybe. However many comes, that's how many I fight. Launchpad, I do. I've got two monitors here, and Trolley has two monitors. But my mouse just goes between the monitors freely because Everquest is in windowed mode. Get on the barb bone. Nuker, I don't. I'm telling you, like, I run basically no software. Just Everquest, Chrome, OBS, Streamlabs chatbot, and Voicemeeter Banana. That's all I have running. Yeah, Frank, I don't understand. No. Yeah, we have two separate computers with two monitors, but I'm only using one of them. Wrecked, show you the Mando shirt. Here you go. Charlie bought this shirt for me, just kind of like in celebration of the Mandalorian thing. Just a bunch of helmets. I don't know, Raven. I don't know if mine sounds good either, but I just set it up so that I could talk to the people in my Discord group without you guys having to hear them talk all the time. Alright guys, it's been a little bit over 3 hours. It is a weeknight, I gotta go in early, so we're probably gonna go ahead and call this one a session here. I'm sorry that we couldn't have Trolley on grouping with us for this. I know normally Wednesday is our duo session, but I suck and I died, so we had to get some levels. But next time it is up for a duo stream. Trolley and I will both be on. We will be doing Champions of Norath this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, so check that out. And following that, we're going to have another duo stream on Wednesday next week, and we'll definitely be in grouping range. Unless I die again. I promise I won't die again. So, look forward to that. But remember, as always, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be there. It's going to be a great time, as always. Mandalorian has been a lot of fun. And the more we level up on this character, the more dangerous things get, so it's going to be spicy. You guys know. Thank you all for being out here. It's been an exciting night, as always. Now let's find someone good to raid. I'm going to raid my pal, Admiral Showtime. You guys might have been on some raids with him before. He's a good buddy of mine. He does a lot of variety streaming, and we are trying to pressure him into streaming Everquest. So jump in his chat, tell him that he owes you an Everquest stream, demand it, and spam his chat. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, raid.